Yo, the streets are talking, and 50 Cent just turned the volume all the way up. New footage connected to Jay-Z is spreading online faster than wildfire, and Fifth is the one pushing it straight to everybody's timeline. The internet's having a complete meltdown right now, and honestly, nobody saw this level of smoke coming all at once. Look, we all know 50 loves stirring the pot. That's his thing. But what's happening right now goes way beyond typical rap beef. This is about legal pressure, family drama, and allegations that had Jay-Z's name trending for all the wrong reasons. And the timing? Man, the timing couldn't be more wild. So here's where it all started getting crazy. On December 8th, 2024, a revised legal filing dropped that had Jay-Z's name written all over it. The accuser, going by Jane Doe to protect her identity, brought up an alleged situation from way back in September 2000. She claimed she was only 13 at the time. And yeah, that detail alone had everybody's jaw on the floor. According to the filing, this allegedly went down at an after-party following the MTV Video Music Awards. Now the case was filed under this New York law that temporarily let people bring up older claims that normally would have been past the deadline. But here's where things get interesting. Jay-Z's legal team came out swinging immediately. His lawyer Alex Spira wasn't playing around. They argued the law wasn't even active when this alleged incident supposedly happened. The timeline? According to them, it just didn't add up. And Jay's response wasn't some cookie-cutter press release either. Nah, this was personal. You could feel the anger coming through every word. He talked about protecting his family, his kids, his legacy, everything he's built over decades in this game. But then the story started falling apart faster than a house of cards in a hurricane. The accuser said after the alleged incident, she ran to a gas station and called her dad, who supposedly drove for hours to pick her up. Investigators went straight to the source. They talked to her father directly. And what did he say? He had absolutely no memory of that happening. Zero. He stressed that something that serious? That's not the type of thing a parent forgets. Ever. The cracks kept getting bigger. She described this private house party, right? But photos and records from that night in 2000 showed the real after parties were happening at well-known clubs around the city, not private houses. The geography wasn't matching, the timeline wasn't matching. Nothing was adding up the way it should if this story was solid. Then came the Benji Madden detail that really had people raising eyebrows. The accuser claimed she had a conversation with Benji from Good Charlotte at this party. One problem though, Good Charlotte was touring in the Midwest that night. They weren't even at the VMAs. Their team confirmed it. That's the kind of detail that makes or breaks credibility in situations like this. Later, in interviews, the accuser admitted some details might have been unclear. She talked about stress, about memories getting fuzzy over the years, but she still stood by her main claim. The pressure kept mounting though. Every new detail that came out seemed to poke another hole in the story. Fast forward to February 14th, 2025, Valentine's Day of all days, and her lawyers filed the paperwork to officially end the case in federal court. No settlement, no payment, no admission of anything, just done, finished, over. Jay-Z and Roc Nation made sure everybody knew no money changed hands. They emphasized this lawsuit should have never seen the light of day. Jay released another statement saying he felt relief, sure, but he was still furious about what his family had to go through. Think about it. His kids had to hear about this. Blue Ivy's old enough to understand what people are saying about her father online. That's the type of thing that stays with you. Now here's where 50 Cent enters the picture with perfect timing, as always. While all this legal drama was unfolding, 50's been posting cryptic stuff on Instagram, making comments and interviews, and basically stoking the fire every chance he gets. He's been talking about making a documentary about Jay-Z, similar to what he's doing with Diddy, and people are legitimately scared about what that could mean. See, 50's not just some random dude talking crazy on the internet. When he says he's got receipts, historically speaking, he usually does. Remember when he went after Ja Rule? Or when he exposed Rick Ross? The man keeps a file on everybody, and he's patient enough to wait for the perfect moment to use it. In one interview, 50 was asked directly about the Jay-Z situation. He didn't hold back. He pointed out how Jay's initial statement seemed calculated, like it was written by a lawyer trying to be combative with another lawyer. And honestly, read that statement yourself. It does have that aggressive legal tone to it. The lawyer representing the accuser, Tony Busby, isn't some nobody either. This is the same attorney who's filed dozens of cases against Diddy. Jay-Z called him out directly, referring to him as this 1-800 lawyer who gets to hide behind anonymous clients and walk away with no consequences when their money grab fails. Those are fighting words in the legal world. But what's really got people talking is the bigger picture here. 50 Cent's been hinting that this goes deeper than just one dismissed case. He's been dropping these mysterious videos and posts that suggest he knows something more. And given his track record of being ahead of the curve on industry drama, people are paying attention. Think about the timing, too. All this is happening while Diddy's dealing with his own massive legal problems. The industry's watching two of its biggest moguls face serious allegations, and 50's right there documenting everything, probably laughing while he does it. He's already working on that Diddy documentary for Netflix, and now he's talking about doing one on Jay-Z. The man's basically becoming the TMZ of hip-hop, except with actual insider knowledge. What makes this whole situation even crazier is how Jay-Z's been moving lately. For years, he's been untouchable. The businessman, the billionaire, the guy who transcended rap. But now people are looking at him differently. Even though this case got dismissed, the internet doesn't forget. Screenshots last forever, and 50 Cent makes sure of that. Roc Nation's been in full damage control mode. They've been emphasizing that this was always a civil case, never criminal. They keep stressing that the case was dismissed without any payment or settlement. But in the court of public opinion, that doesn't always matter. Once your name's attached to something like this, it follows you. The accuser's story falling apart definitely helped Jay-Z's case. But some people are still asking questions. Why did it take so long for these inconsistencies to come out? Why was the case filed in the first place if the evidence was so shaky? These are the kinds of questions 50 Cent loves to explore, especially when it involves someone he's had beef with for decades. And let's be real, 50 and Jay have history. This goes back to when 50 first came into the game. Jay-Z was already established, already the king of New York. There was always this underlying tension, this competition. They've thrown subliminal shots at each other for years. But this feels different. This feels like 50's going for the jugular. People close to the situation say Jay-Z's especially upset about how this affected his family. Beyonce had to deal with the public speculation. Their kids had to hear about it at school. That's the kind of thing that changes relationships. That puts stress on a marriage, on a family dynamic. And 50 knows that. That's why he keeps poking at it. The statement Jay released after the dismissal was telling. He said the trauma his wife, children, and loved ones endured can never be dismissed. That's not legal speak. That's a father and husband talking. That's someone who's genuinely angry about what happened, regardless of the legal outcome. Meanwhile, 50's out here acting like he's got more ammunition. He keeps hinting at this documentary, keeps posting these cryptic messages. He recently said in an interview that people should pay attention to who's staying quiet in the industry right now. That's the kind of comment that has everyone paranoid, wondering who's next, what's next. Tony Busby, the lawyer who filed the case, hasn't backed down completely either. Even though this case was dismissed, he's still representing dozens of other clients with cases against Diddy. Some people think he might try to connect Jay-Z to those cases somehow, though there's no evidence of that yet. But in this climate, anything seems possible. The fact that the accuser admitted to making mistakes with details definitely hurt her credibility. But her lawyer tried to frame it as trauma affecting memory, which is a real thing. The problem is, when you're going up against someone with Jay-Z's resources and legal team, every single detail matters. One wrong date, one impossible timeline, and the whole thing unravels. What's interesting is how different people in the industry are reacting. Some are standing by Jay-Z, saying this proves he was innocent all along. Others are staying suspiciously quiet, maybe waiting to see if more shoes drop. And then there's 50, who's basically turned this into content, into entertainment, into his next big project. The documentary threat is what's really got people nervous. 50's surviving R. Kelly-style approach to Diddy already has the industry shook. If he does the same thing with Jay-Z, even focusing on dismissed cases and rumors, it could seriously damage Jay's reputation. And 50 knows that. He knows the power of narrative, of controlling the story. Some insiders are saying Jay-Z's team is already preparing for whatever 50 might drop. They're supposedly gathering their own evidence, their own timeline of events, ready to counter whatever narrative 50 tries to push. It's basically a cold war of information, with both sides stockpiling ammunition. The streets are definitely talking about all this. Social media has been going crazy with theories, with people picking sides. Some think 50's just jealous of Jay's success and is using this moment to kick him while he's down. Others think 50 might actually know something we don't, that there's more to this story that hasn't come out yet. What we do know is that February 14th dismissal was without prejudice, meaning it can't be refiled. That door is permanently closed. Jay-Z's team made sure to emphasize that point. This isn't something that can come back to haunt him legally. But reputation-wise, that's a different story entirely. The timing of everything is what's really suspicious to some people. Why now? Why did this case surface in December 2024, get demolished by February 2025? Some think it was an attempted money grab that failed. Others wonder if it was meant to distract from something else going on in the industry. And through all of this, 50's just been sitting back, watching, posting, commenting. He's turned himself into the narrator of hip-hop's darkest moments. And honestly, people can't look away. Every time he posts something cryptic, it gets millions of views. Every interview where he mentions Jay-Z goes viral. The question now is what happens next? Does 50 actually drop this documentary? Does he have real evidence of something? Or is he just talking to stay relevant? And how does Jay-Z respond? Does he ignore it, or does he fight back? One thing's for sure. This situation has changed how people view Jay-Z, even if temporarily. The businessman image, the untouchable mogul persona, it's been cracked a little. And in this industry, perception is everything. Once people start seeing you differently, it's hard to get back to where you were. 50 Cent knows this better than anyone. He's made a career out of exposing people, of showing the streets what's really going on behind closed doors. And now he's got Jay-Z in his crosshairs. Whether he actually pulls the trigger on this documentary remains to be seen. For Jay-Z, this has to be frustrating on so many levels. He beat the case, cleared his name legally, but he's still dealing with the fallout. And with 50 Cent out here promising more revelations, more content, more exposure, it's like the nightmare isn't really over. The industry's watching closely to see how this plays out. Will other people come forward with stories? Will 50 actually deliver on his threats? Or will this all blow over like so many hip-hop beefs before it? What's your take on all this? Do you think 50 Cent's just stirring up drama for attention? Or does he actually have something on Jay-Z that we haven't seen yet? And how do you feel about Jay-Z after this whole situation, even though the case was dismissed? The conversation's far from over, and something tells me 50's just getting started. Drop your thoughts below, and let's see where this whole thing goes from here.